Good afternoon, everyone. This is my second time starting this recording for our Roxy's Journal of Stitchery because I recorded quite a bit and I was blabbing on, explaining things and saying things, and and my video turned itself off and only recorded the first bit of it. So what I'm going to do first, before going on with my composition for the first block, I just wanted to quickly show you how I'm going to approach the accordion style pages, because there's quite a few people doing I'll just grab my fabric, because as I said, I'm doing it again. There's quite a few people doing what did I want to say? Double spreads, and I feel like the accordion style would be a very good way to go if you're doing some double spreads. And so I thought I'd better show it. So I did start showing you, as I said, and then the video stopped. So I'm going to stand up, and I was standing up, but I wasn't checking. So I'm going to use this fabric here. I can't remember who it's by. Oh, I'm having a blank. I can't think. It's like a quilting fabric company. It's a mixed cotton linen, and I felt like this sort of taupey sort of color, beigey taupey sort of color would be good. It goes well with all my blocks, so I'm quite happy with that. So what I did was, before I started, was because it was cut and I wasn't sure if it was straight, I snipped here and I tore a strip off, so that way it was going to be straight. And then what I did was, and I need two pieces because it's not going to be long enough to do my accordion, but I wanted to show you also how to join them. So then what I did was I sort of measured it like this, and I just put a snip here, and then I ripped. But because I've already done a piece, and this piece I need to join on because it's not long enough, what I'm going to do is measure it on this piece, because I already have that piece and I need them to be a similar size. I say similar because there's nothing perfect about what I do. Okay, so then I just ripped and hoped for the best. That's a lovely ripping. Hoped that there we go, is going to be straight. I think it will be, because the other one turned out straight. And there we go. So there's my nice straight. I didn't have to use a ruler. I didn't have to draw any lines. And I inevitably go crooked. I was always crooked when I was doing my more, in inverted commas, precise stitching. Now, am I still recording? Yes, I'm going to be checking. I'm going to be annoying you and checking every 5 seconds. So now I'm just going to give this a quick iron. Just because... oh, I want my steam on. No, that's steam off. Steam on. Just so it's nice. It's really easy to do the accordion. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to use my base page that I've already done my measurement to figure out how I want to do, how big my accordion page is going to be, if that makes sense. I'll show you in a second. I'll just iron it, just giving it a rough iron. Okay, I'm hoping it's straight. The other one was straight. So this one, I kind of wanted to attach this. See, I did all of this whole process with you guys, and then you weren't there because the video wasn't, I was actually all alone, I will say. So what I did was, with this one, was I decided to keep 3 inches here, and I'll have 3 inches at the other end when I get there, and that's going to glue here, as though you were gluing in pages for a journal. So that's going to glue in there. So I'm leaving 3 inches. That will be enough. Then I'm going to have my glue of fabric in there, I think. And then what I did was, and I'll show you here, but I won't iron it. So yes, I did iron my 3 inches. So let's just pretend this is 3 inches. And I ironed that, okay? And then, so I'll tuck that under, because I've already done it, and so I want to attach this one to the other one. That's why I don't want to. Then what I did was I took one of my bases and I just put it on there like so. Yep, like that. And then I put my crease in, but I did leave it very slightly bigger. I've left them slightly bigger so that you'll be able to see them than my base page. That would be probably 1/2 centimetre, so 1/4 of an inch on each side. But you don't have to, it can be exact. But I can see that this does fit into my, actually I probably need to make them a bit smaller. Let me see. So that needs to all fit in there. Ignore that because that's what I need to stitch that to the other one. Those are my pages, so they're very just. I'm doing it very, I've got a curved spine here, so they will be slightly more in. If you've got a flat spine because you've created the spine yourself, then you might want to do your pages a bit smaller, like that, stay that amount in your book. So yeah, so then what I did was I measured it and then I ironed it, the crease in. So just say this is my page, so I took it, so this is my piece here, and I took it and I folded it like this, like so. I might actually even, so I took this page and that was my measurement. Yes, yeah, I'm going to stay a little bit bigger than my base page. I took this page actually. I'm going to stay a little bit bigger just because you know your piece could grow a little bit. Okay, so and then I ironed it. I folded it and ironed it, and I folded this and ironed it. Okay, I have to redo the whole process again. And then I took this and I folded it. I flipped all of this back over. It's not hard. Am I still recording? Yes, I wouldn't like to do it a third time. Okay, and I folded it over. I lined up here. This is where my spine is. I lined that up, and then I ironed that crease. Come on, stretcheroo. Ironed that piece. Then I took my piece and I folded it back that way, and I ironed this one down. It's very, very easy, guys. And ironed that one down. I'm only ironing it because it just is that way, and then I folded it back and I ironed it. Oopsie. Again. Okay, and I will link Charlotte Lyon. She does a little flip through of one that she was creating. That's where I got inspired to do that. And it's very, very easy. And she makes all of her fabric books like that. And then she builds a cover to go around them. But we're doing, well, not everybody, but most of us are doing it in the hardcover, which is really just a fun, something different. Okay, so that's how I proceeded. And so then what will happen is you can open this out and you can see all of your creases. And then you can stitch your page down. Now you could use like just a fabric like this if you want to. You could have decided to make your, I did mention that in one of my earlier videos, you could have decided to make these pieces slightly smaller. And if you had a ticking and you could see the ticking around it, or you could have done it like me where it's more or less the size of the page. But I decided I will be able to see a little bit, so that's why I chose this linen. And then what you do is you pin all your pieces on within your creases, not that one. You pin them in within your creases, upside down, not upside down, within the creases, and then you stitch them down. And then what happens is when you fold them back, they go back to back like that. So let's fold them back just so you can see the idea. So you fold them back like that, fold that one under. Okay, just pretend it's all straight. It will, like you'd have it all going straight. And then that's stitched down. And then what you do is you stitch across here and across here. And you can stitch down there if you want to. And then you've got your pages like this. They'll open up like this, see? And that one would be there. And then we'd have the bunny block. I keep putting them on upside down. And then you turn it over. And you've got the nice fold there. And then you'd have bunny block, next block. See, now I don't have enough. This is not wide enough, this fabric. So what my next thing I wanted to show you very quickly was I'm going to, now you could machine it. What you do is you get your other strip and just put it on, like overlap it. I'm going to overlap it a few centimeters. So you could machine stitch that. I've just got to grab some pins. I think it's looking straight to me. You know I do eyeball everything. Everything's a bit of an eyeball. And grab my pins, and I am going to do some rows of, until I've covered all of that, so probably 5 rows of invisible stitch, and that is going to join my pieces. And I learnt that from Jude Hill, and it's a very good trick, because when you've got smaller, just say you had a whole lot of little pieces like this, but they weren't quite big enough for your project, you could do that. The reason why I prefer that for this project than machine stitching is because when you do like a zigzag, it's a little bit stiff. It's a little bit thicker and stiff, whereas this is soft. This stays soft. So that's why I would do that. Just wanted to grab that other piece if I can find it. This piece here that I showed you last week, this piece was all stitched in that way. See, I joined all of these pieces together doing the invisible stitch. They are so strong and they will not come apart. They won't. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. So I'll do that quickly. We've got the sun coming in because of the faux pas with the non-videoing. So hopefully it won't bother us when I come back. So I'll pause you and then I'll come back. Okay guys, so I'm back. I'm sorry about the light. I've lowered the blind a bit. So you're just seeing little streams of light, but otherwise it was really, really, really sunny. Let me just turn my iron back on. Okay. And I just wanted to show you, I have stitched I only did 3 rows. They're totally stitched together with the invisible stitch. That's the reverse side. That's the front side. So now I've got this nice big long piece that I can create my pages from. And you know, there's no end to the length. You can just keep on adding to it. Like, yeah, if you have like I do have a very deep spine in my book. My spine is huge. If I decide to keep that spine, I think it's about, what is that? 3 inches, this spine. So I could have endless number of pages in there. So I'm going to continue on ironing and then let's see what we get. So I've ironed those. And if you were worried you're going to lose your creases, you could just do a quick tacking sort of stitch along the thing just to define your page if you were concerned that it was going to come out. You know me, Little Miss Wing It, I don't worry about it. But you know, some people do. So you need to, as they say, you need to do you, whatever's best. So I've done that one. I'm going to iron that one again. So you've got to sort of, there's a bit of flipping backwards and forwards with the fabric, with the long line of fabric. Kind of put your fingers in there and just sort of line it up. And make sure you can see your edge there. And just sort of jiggle it around. I mean, it's very easy. It's just an accordion. So iron that. Keep ironing it down and maybe iron. I'm working around my ring light here too. Hopefully my recording is very stressed about that. It was very annoying. Okay. My only unfortunate thing with this fabric is that it sort of ended up on the selvage. So it might be a little bit lumpy there, but you know, it is what it is. So that's the reverse side you're seeing. But I'm going to iron that. Make sure it's straight-ish. And of course, you know, it's not set in stone. So if you've made a boo-boo, you can adjust it because it's just ironed. I'm just going to iron that like so. Then I get this one. And like, this is why I said you actually don't need to, unless you're wanting to stitch your things in straight away, you don't really need to worry about which style of binding you're going to use until the end. But I certainly think that this style is, I would recommend it if you're going to do some double page spreads. I'd also recommend it if you have like, I mean, this is not perfect. I can sort of jiggle it around later on. So yeah, if you're going to do double page spreads, or if you've got a really deep spine, you may find I might continue work, because this is a 6-month project, guys. And then we might have something for the second part of the year, but we're not going to reveal that yet. So you might say, well, I want to do more. And because I've got a really big book, or I'm doing my own cover and I can make it as big as I want. So, you know, with this method, you can keep on adding pages until you've filled your book, and then you stitch it in at the end. I don't know, there's just something about this that I really liked when I saw Charlotte's. So, gosh, I'm going to be making a very long video. I might put this part of the video up separately so that it's always there separately for someone who wants to see the preparation of the accordion pages. There we go, look at that. Now, I've probably got too many pages now, but here we go. I've got my last page here. I'm just going to iron it in anyway. I might snip it off if I don't need that many. I don't need that many, I know I don't, but I might snip it off. But it gives me options. Okay, and then I'm going to, and it's also, you know what, it's fun to do something different, a bit outside of your regular box. Hop outside the box and try something different. Okay, so there we go. So there's my pages. So I'm going to grab I'm going to flip it over. Like so, there are all my pages, and that's not too bad. It's not like, you know, they're pretty even. They're the backs. So those are going to go into the spine. And I do think that you want to keep your pages a little bit bigger than your actual stitch page, because it gives it room for if it bulks up. And so that's going to glue in on that side, and that will glue in on that side. And hello, here are my pages. Look at that. They're all my pages. That's the join. And there's my pages. Look how many. So, and if I need more, I can add more. Hopefully I've got more of the fabric. Otherwise I'll just change the fabric. And I don't care if it's slightly taller than my book. It's not, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly 100% precise. And then I'm going to start attaching my bits in like this. So I can start pinning. I would only pin it, I'll pin it only onto one page, because I'm going to stitch it onto one part of the, you know, one page. But I just wanted to pin it so that way you could get an actual idea of it. Lift that up, because I'll do my stitching. And also, if you're, you know, concerned about knots and things like that, then you can you know, they're hidden in between the two folds. Okay, so that's page one. Now, one other thing I wanted to address before I go off on this video is I wanted to say that if you were doing tabs like Sarah's, I'm not going to do tabs. I might have some lace sticking out or something, but I'm not going to do tabs as such, because that's Sarah's thing, and I might do that in another book. I might make another book. I just love putting them in the hard covers. I don't like the stringy bits. They get wrapped around my fingers. If you're doing the tabs, before you stitch this down, you put your tabs on here, and then you stitch it in between the two pages. So then I flip it over, and here goes, this is where my first sampler is going, and I have a little bit of space around my page. And once I've stitched those two on, once I've stitched them on, I'm having so much fun, guys, can you tell? Once I've stitched that on, then I just stitch around here. And I can do it like in a thread that you don't even need to stitch there, just here and here. And you could go down there if you wanted to. And then that one's going to go on there. And you can, and once you've got your creases in and you're pretty confident about that you've got it okay for your book, you can actually start stitching your pages on. You can actually put them on and not have them floating about anymore. And so you're really starting to get an idea of what your book's going to be looking like. So then if I pull this out, this is what it's looking like. So I've got all my creases here, you see. I just wanted to show you this. That's how you stitch them on, and then you fold them where your creases are. Look at that, all in a row. You can just keep building and building and building, and then fold it, and then in it pops into your cover. So that's how I'm preparing my accordion. I might even leave those pinned on there, ready to go. Oh, I'm loving it. And then my first block's going to go there. My second block's going to go there. And there's going to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got extra two pages there. So isn't that fun? Or extra page or extra 2 pages. So there you go. And as I said, if you're worried, you could put a little stitch down here where your folds are. So that way you don't have to iron them in again. You know where you're meant to fold. So that is the preparation of the accordion book. So I'm going to sign that off here. And then I'm going to come back with my block. So I've got a part 1 for this week and a part 2, which will be the actual composition of my block. So I'll see you again soon. Bye.